Welcome, listeners. Well, I'm back from my holidays in Melbourne, of all places. I attended the PAX there. So for all of you who haven't heard of PAX, think of it as one of Australia's largest comic, cosplay and gaming conventions that covers both tabletops, so board games, and video games from a range of genres. It was fantastic. And let me just say, Melbourne's food scene is also fantastic. If any of you suffer from hay fever though, do not go to Melbourne. Let's just say I'm still recovering. And following up from recovering, I need to catch up on some shoutouts. That's right, I haven't done one of these for ages. So I wanted to say a special thank you to all you listeners. And the day after tomorrow, I'll do the iTunes shoutouts. And let me just say, I'm super duper impressed at how many of you reviewed the show and gave me 5 out of 5. Seriously, this has helped the channel immensely. And I'm so lucky to have supporters like you. So your shoutouts will be on Wednesday, rest assured. So let's do this. I have a lot of people and podcasts to thank. Troy Shaw, mate, as always, sharp ears, loving the likes and reposts of the episodes on this channel, and a special thank you for today's episode, because your Dungeons and Dragons story is in it. And I hope you like it, mate. You did a great job at writing the narrative, and I love the emotional cues you have in your characters. Very nice work. So thanks. Arkin, brother, thank you so much, mate, for your awesome support, and I have your story, buddy, and I'll be recording it this week. Listeners are always asking me, when's the next Telltale episode out? And we cannot disappoint them, can we, Jace? No. So thanks, buddy, I'll get this one recorded. Wee woo, my second pair of ears and channel supporter. I love the comments you leave, mate, and your thoughts on the episodes are just awesome. It's so cool to hear your thoughts on what you think of the stories and your reactions. Great to hear from you, and thank you for the constant likes and reposts, mate. Cheers. Star Eve 2099. Talk about a hardcore supporter. Star Eve 2099 has been helping to point out skips and bumps in my audio, which definitely helps. Daily episodes can lead to this sometimes, and a huge thank you for letting me know. Just like many of my awesome supporters, it helps this channel become more fine-tuned and helps me keep the quality up. And yes, I really love the holiday, thanks for asking. Cheers, mate. Kyle Brandt, the author of Michi's Journey. I'm definitely going to need to find time this week to dig deep into that awesome story and your universe. For those of you who enjoy Japanese folklore stories with a mysticism twist, look no further than Kyle Brandt. His story, titled Michi's Journey, will have you covered, and there are some episodes in my channel already, so feel free to have a look at those. And thank you, by the way, Kyle, for your constant reposts, likes, and awesome support. I really appreciate that, mate. Cheers. Sin, thank you so much for your awesome support. Once I have these stories recorded and up on SoundCloud, I'm going to have to pick your brain on what you reckon would be a good yokai creature story to do. Cheers, Sin. More Noir, thanks for listening, mate, as always. Nelson Break, thank you for listening. Galactical 1369 Princess, thank you for the follow. Manifesta, thank you for the follow. Bree Thompson, I hope you had a fantastic birthday, and thanks loads for the likes. Oh, and hugs and stuff. Cheers. Hand Full of Man, awesome name. Thank you for the follow. Christian Caulfield, cheers for the follow. Quasar Bolt, hey buddy, so awesome to hear from you, mate. And oh yes, many SCPs on the way. They won't be as heavy as last week. Goodness, that was a new challenge, I'll tell ya. But I'll be doing more SCPs in the future to shake things up. Thank you as always for your constant support and your comments. Love 'em. Cheers, buddy. The Cadavercast podcast, Jeff and Al Burnham, you are just great. Listeners, if you haven't heard of this podcast, check them out. They are a family-friendly podcast and they cover old-school horror films that will have you having a nostalgia trip of your own. Plus, you get to laugh alongside a father and son podcast, of which the son is 5 years old. Such a smart dude. I gotta lift my game, so check them out. Brandy Cummings, thank you for the follow, mate. Paul Grayling, hey, thanks for the repost and likes, buddy. It's always awesome to see you listening, if that makes sense. Cheers. Dark Side Squad, thank you for the follow, mate, and the likes. Jakey's Baby, thank you for the follow. Captain Awesome K, awesome is in your name, mate, and you truly are. Cheers for coming from my YouTube channel to here. So glad to have you on both platforms. Melissa, thank you for the likes, mate. Megan Cook, thank you for the follow and the likes. The Black Metal Nazgul, thank you for your story, mate. I'll be editing the story this week just for you, buddy, and you'll get it back as soon as I can. Cheers, mate. I now have time to work on it. And to cap these shoutouts off, the Crazy Town Podcast. Thank you for your constant support and reposts. If you haven't heard of this awesome podcast, they do weird and crazy news stories from all around the world. And wow, they are just crazy. One of the latest episodes is titled 4chan Treasure Hunt and Unwritten Rules That Should Be Written Down. So if you have a chance, check them out. And of course, thank you listeners and all of you supporting the channel. Seriously, it's amazing. I'm back, albeit a little hay fevery, but I'm back, and so glad to be. More shoutouts on the way this Wednesday. Let me know if I've missed you, call me out if I have, and I'll also be doing some YouTube shoutouts on Friday. Now, to today's episode, which I'm sure all of you are waiting for, we have 2 audience member stories that I wanted to share with you. Our first story is a true, short, scary story titled The Stuffed Dog Named Scooter by The Chrome Spy, and our second is based on a Dungeons & Dragons session titled Tales of the Green Belt, sent in by no other than Troy Shaw, and I hope I do it justice, mate. So let's jump right on in. This story is brought to you by The Chrome Spy, titled The Stuffed Dog Named Scooter. It all started when I was 5. I have this stuffed dog, Scooter. My great-grandma got me when I was 1. Over the years, I've been saved countless times by what I thought was sheer luck. That is until last weekend. I was moving into my new apartment, and me and my buddy were carrying boxes when I dropped the box containing the stuffed dog. I muttered a curse and went to pick the box up. That's when it happened. A loud crack and glass-shattering sounds rang through the lobby. I looked up and saw a man dressed in black, and he appeared to have a gun. That's when he yelled at us to get on the ground. That's when I remembered that my buddy was the chief of police. "Dude!" I yelled. "Shoot him!" Then another crack and I felt my jacket rip. He fired his gun at me, and my buddy reacted by taking his gun out and firing a round into his leg. The guy dropped the gun and yelled. That's when I realized that I was somehow holding the stuffed dog in my arms. "Hands where I can see them," a police officer shouted. I saw the guy point at my buddy, and he laughed. My friend pulled out his badge, and the officer nodded. The man was deranged. He kept shouting profanity. Then the police arrested him and took him away. "Hey kid, you okay?" the officer asked me. I nodded. Then I saw the bullet hole. Holy crap. If I did not drop the box, I'd be dead. When we got to my apartment room, what made me feel a chill of fear was that the stuffed dog was sitting on the couch with a fully intact handgun round in front of it. I never had put the stuffed dog in the room I had it in when the incident happened. Tales of the Green Belt. It's been 6 months and 2 weeks since I've joined the Black Company and got grouped up with this team of unwanted outcasts. It's bad enough that we only receive minimum training, but to be stuck with this suicide mission exploring the Green Belt, well, it doesn't matter. I suppose some introductions of myself and my team are in order. My name is Zen. I am a doppelganger. And before you raise your pitchfork and torches, yes, my team and superiors know about this little taboo that is my existence. It hasn't been easy being part of the race that's only known for disemboweling organizations and kingdoms from the inside out, through our ability to disguise ourselves as anyone we've seen. Next up is my 2 meat shields. Darian, a 6-foot, 9-inch behemoth of a man, afflicted with lycanthropy. First time I saw this brute, he was going to be hung by an overly superstitious village. With some quick thinking and a swift disguise, I was able to calm down the fanatic zealots, get him out of there and on my "you owe me" list. Luckily for me, His observational skills are about as good as the villagers, and never bothered asking me what happened to the real son of the deputy. What? It's not like my plan could have worked with two of him walking around. All I told you was, it's not easy being a doppelganger. I never said I was a good person. Now we have Embrum, a half-red dragon bastard child of a wealthy family. Such shame fell hard on his grandfather's head. The staff and servants that were present during his birth were executed to keep this slander of their names silent. Only through the begging and pleading of his mother did he survive. Cast out and nameless, his life has been nothing but an uphill battle, begging on the streets, fighting in gladiator pits, and ultimately, his worst decision of all, joining the Black Company. I dread the day his father comes looking for his son. Let me introduce Nagash, a Inquisitor of Raymenda. I get it, having me on the payroll is nothing but a liability. With his spells capable of seeking me out, I wouldn't be surprised if they gave him a silver sword for Darien and enchanted it with cold, a weakness for red dragons. Just so, if any of us stepped out of line, he'd have the upper hand. And let's not forget Vorin, that fucking cat. A tiefling that has beast blood of the Rakshasa. Too many species getting a little friendly with each other as far as I'm concerned. I'd call him a mutt, but mutts aren't this expensive. He's already managed to die twice, and was on the verge of dying the third time on multiple occasions. I'm glad I have friends in high places for such outcomes, with resurrections costing a small fortune. Well, there's not much more to say about this bard. He talks a big game and sends his friends in first. But, all that aside, fate has been kind to me. At least when we were ordered to clear out an underground nest of mites. Now, mites remind me of goblins, only if they were weaker. With rough disfigured blue skin, disproportionate limbs, and a heritage linking them to the Fae. Being physically weak and small, mites prefer to overwhelm their opponents with superior numbers, cutting at them with small knives in a bloodthirsty frenzy. My plan was to avoid such an encounter. First room we entered should have been easy. 3 mites and 2 beetles the size of small dogs. We rushed in and cut them down with ease before they could even move or make a sound. But there is nothing deadlier than being overconfident and relaxed. Embrum, that damn fool. As he landed the finishing blow, he let out a deafening victory roar. The sound echoed in the caves for a solid 8 seconds. One word was uttered across everyone's lips, and furious glares towards him. Dumb ass. In response to his roar came a bone-shaking chatter, and a loud screech reminiscent of a pine beetle but much larger. The tunnel we came in, and the only way forward was filling with mites like a flood. I know this is all but a death sentence. Darien didn't even hesitate, blocking the way we came in with his very own body as he effortlessly cleaved 2 at a time. Unfortunately, this was all for naught. Embrum, frozen with the shock of realizing what he had just done, failed to block the other entrant in time. I'm not meant to fight a battle head-on like this. I need to end fights before my opponents even see me. But there's no point in complaining now. I'm trapped in a fight alongside the man who condemned us all. Wielding 2 wakizashis, I sliced my way through 4 mites before being swarmed. 6 small knives dug into me. Pain and blood loss quickly took me, collapsing on the floor. I was no longer a threat. Barely conscious, I witnessed a wave of mites run past Embrum to get at Nagash, who was at the time using clerical spells to boost our capabilities and mitigate damage. He didn't last a moment. My vision blurred and I heard Darien scream in pain alongside the cat, and saw Embrum get chomped in half by a dog-sized tick being ridden by what I assume to be the chief of the mites. I grinned at the sight. Given different circumstances and less blood loss in my lungs, I might have chuckled. Black was all I saw now. Am I dead? Where's that hot place I was promised by so many? I still felt pain, so maybe the devil is just getting creative. I'll avoid death, but I'll never fear it. Even if there is a hell, me and the devil could have a lot in common. Maybe we'll swap notes. A small light appeared, accompanied with screams, to my mild disappointment. I saw two mites torturing a kobold, a small humanoid reptilian creature with the head and tail of a gator. I was alive. Damn. I'll have to satiate my curiosity about the afterlife another day. Glancing at my surroundings, I noticed the scattered remains of my team. All our gear was gone except for bits and pieces. Silently, I slipped towards the cleric's hip pouch, grabbed the first potion I could and hoped it would do something for my wounds. Luck paid off. Now able to stand on my own 2 feet, I reached into his bag again, looking for a special bag of dust I knew was able to turn me invisible. It was his own personal mission to keep this away from me in life, and now is going to save my ass in his death. Now, invisible, and with a natural affinity for being quiet, I quickly left before the dust wore off. Standing at the entrance of the cave, with no equipment or weapons, about to start my grueling 3-day run back to the outpost my boss is stationed at. Through the harsh and unforgiving wilderness, there is the green belt. I mockingly chuckled. Well, that went well. Just fantastic. What a start to this week, right? Our first story regarding the stuffed dog. Wowza! That sends shivers down my spine for sure. Talk about lucky. Thank you so much, the Chrome Spy, for sending that one in. And I also really enjoyed Troy Shaw's story. I can actually imagine the scenes running through my head whilst recording this story based on a Dungeons & Dragons account. You have some solid writing skills, Troy. Do not hesitate to send me more stories. Great job. And it was great to flex my vocals on this story, seeing as on my holiday, I spent most of my time screaming, laughing, and now recovering from my own Dungeons & Dragons games. So, yeah, awesome. And thanks again to both of you for sending these stories in. Also, if you have stories of your own, send them my way. My email is StoriesFablesGhostlyTales@gmail.com. So once again, StoriesFablesGhostlyTales@gmail.com. And if you're thinking, Stories or the supporters won't like my story, or it doesn't fit his channel, or I don't know if it's quality or not, don't stress. I take all kinds of stories, and if you're not sure, chat to me. I respond extremely quickly now that I'm not on holiday, and will always give feedback as you need it. This channel is ultimately a safe place for sharing stories and having fun, so you're welcome to join in. Oh, and do you hear that? It's the god of iTunes calling to us. What? You like some more 5 out of 5 star reviews? I don't know. I mean, yes, my supporters are extremely brilliant, but god of iTunes, how can they reach you? Jokes aside, if you click on the iTunes link and then my profile, you can leave a review that way. For those of you who are already doing this, thank you so much. And if any of you get stuck, let me know. It can be a couple of hoops, so I do appreciate it. And lastly, thank you listeners for being fantastic and just listening. You are great. More stories tomorrow, of course, so stay tuned. And on that note, it's that time, listeners. This is the place where stories live, and you telltellers come to listen. Enjoy your day or night, and join me every weekday for our creepy tradition. And as always, till next time.